Welcome back to Girl Talk. I'm your host, Colleen Fuentes, and today I have with me Kristen Gunderson, a nutritional educator from Nutritional Weight and Wellness, and we're going to talk about nutrition, our brain, and cravings. Again, this is our third segment for cravings. So Kristen, thank you so much again for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about how nutrition does affect our brain. I mean, brain growth, does it stop the growth of I'm sure it stops the growth of some people's brains.
Bad nutrition for sure does. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, we're talking about cravings, and something that we have going on in our body, in our brain, could be causing those cravings if we are low in neurotransmitters.
Okay.
And those,
that's fun.
I know, it sounds really sciencey, doesn't it? Actually, it's easy. So neurotransmitters are something we all have, and serotonin, you've heard of that.
Sure.
Dopamine, things like that. These are neurotransmitters. These are brain chemicals made to make us feel good. And if we are low in them, we can have cravings.
Okay. So I was just reading, let me get this right. The average person consumes 300 pounds of processed carbohydrates a year.
That's so gross.
So it's amazing that we can actually shed some of those 300 pounds, because we're not just eating processed carbs. That's in addition to.
Yeah. That
sounds delicious.
Well, it's a scary, scary thing. So the neurotransmitters actually, go to work at us, making us feel good. So we don't necessarily seek food out to feel good.
Okay.
So could you see if we're low in that, that causes cravings, and it also helps with that kind of can't stop at just one behavior. So that's how the snowball, and the 3 turns into 6, turns into 9, and then it's 300 pounds later, and we've consumed a ton of carbs, which in our past segments we've talked about end up being sugar in our body.
Yeah, because that's how our body breaks it down.
Yep, exactly.
So why is it the carbs that we're craving?
Well, it's kind of an interesting cycle. So you actually have these neurotransmitters that make you feel good. Well, if you're low in them, again, you seek out the carbs in sugar. And when you eat those, you actually get a little boost of serotonin when you get that sugar high too.
Okay.
So if you're very low in the serotonin to begin with, you could be going towards that stuff to get that high. It's an addictive behavior, much like an alcoholic, a heroin addict, something like that, seeks that boost every time. So you know what your go-to foods are.
Okay. What is serotonin good for? Explain to us what that's doing to our bodies.
Absolutely. So actually, to make serotonin, you need protein.
Okay.
And as we've talked about, that's a big component of our triad, where you need the protein, fat, and carbs. So we take in that protein, and it breaks down into amino acids in our body, and that makes our serotonin. That makes our neurotransmitters. And the neurotransmitters are what help our cells communicate with one another. So we're just working as efficiently as possible. So it's critical to have those, because if you don't, then there's a breakdown in the system.
Is there a difference between the nutrition that women need and the nutrition that men need?
Not typically, but there is a difference in, I would say, our history and why maybe women have an issue with this more so than men.
Okay.
We've done the high carb, low fat diets for so long, and that has really put a damper on how much protein we're taking in.